You can't just know what not to do. You have to know what to do. I want to talk to you about finances today. Most people don't know this, but in addition to the other things that I've done in my life, one of the things that I've done extremely well is finances. If you're playing defense and protection, save your money, protect it. This money, just to simplify things, this is a piece of paper, okay? This piece of paper is worthless if it's not used.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Jared Glant, and this is another episode of Young Hustlers, where the people with the young hustle deep down inside come to get their sales right, to get their money right, and to get closer to the ideal life. That's why I show up and work hard every day, because I want to create a life that is abundant in every area: money, health, relationship with my wife, with my son. Like, dude, I want it all. And today I'm talking about something that's very critical to having it all. I'm talking about money. Now, people get weird about money. Last week I did a podcast, the episode on the biggest money mistakes that I made. And man, I got to tell you, money is important. When you don't have money, you realize how important money is. And when you have just enough, you don't realize that just enough is not enough. So, I went through a lot of mistakes. If you didn't listen to that podcast, you can go back and listen to the podcast from last week. If you're on iTunes listening, thank you, first of all. If you haven't subscribed to the Grant Cardone Zone podcast, where the Young Hustler Show lives, make sure that you subscribe, rate, review. We love to see you guys engaging with the material. I'd love to get questions from you guys. I'm also accepting callers today, 305-865-8668. The number's right above my head. It's a little low today, Francisco. It's kind of in my head here. I'm talking about money today. I'm talking about how to make your first $100,000. I remember that was the first milestone that I ever made. Now, keep in mind, if I got to where I had $10,000 in the bank, I was stoked. I was so excited. I was like, dude. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we send them to clients. Yeah. I mean, if Sherry doesn't want to, then that's one thing, but I'm cool with it. Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with that. Yeah. Back to the show. I'm talking about money right here. Money's important. When money comes into the conversation, you got to address it. You got to give it some attention. You got to give it some love. Look, I made a lot of mistakes with money. I would be way farther along than I am today if I would have had some information, some tips, some advice. And so that's what I want to do today. Again, go back and re-listen to the show last week if you've missed it. GrantCardone.com/podcast is where you can get subscribed to the podcast. Today, I'm talking about one of the most exciting milestones that I ever hit. The first milestone that I ever set for myself with money was $100,000. Now, again, like I was saying before, I had never been to $10,000 in my bank account. If I got to $10,000, I was like, man, I'm rolling. I couldn't keep money in the bank because I was getting rid of it faster than I was making it, and then I'd end up broke again, and I'd be trying to figure out what do I do to get to that next thing where I can actually. I thought at 10,000 I could like undo a notch in my belt after a big meal, just kind of loosen it up a little bit. But it didn't happen. And then when I got to 100 and I thought that was what I needed to be secure, it didn't happen again. And then when I got to 1 million, and I look back, I'm like, oh, 1 million, that's it. And I look back. And I said, it ain't enough. Because I've been through the points in my life and the highs and the lows and the good economy and the bad economy and the knucklehead syndrome where you start making bad decisions you quit your job thinking that there's something else better down the road, and then you look back 3 or 4 months later and you're on unemployment because somebody screwed you. It happens, right? So the key is to get in a position where you can actually get closer to financial freedom. That is the ultimate goal, financial freedom, where the passive income that you generate and that you have coming in on a monthly basis exceeds your expenses. That's financial freedom. For me, financial freedom is my passive income exceeds my expenses, plus I have the ability to invest. So for me, that's $100,000 a month. I want $100,000 a month passive. That's my first goal right now. Love to get to $1 million a month. $100,000 a month is my first target. So backing all the way back down to where I was 8 years ago, $100,000 a month passive in passive income. That means you have to have 10 million working at 10% if you're able to get a 10% return on your money. So a little less than that, actually, 80 grand. So my point is it wasn't always like that. Like there was a time when I was trying to get to 10 grand. And then I got to that point and I said, well, what's the next target? So I want to talk today about how to bank your first 100K. If you have questions, call on the show, 305-865-8668, 305-865-8668. The very first thing you need to do if you want to get $100,000 in the bank is you have to have a job that pays you based on your performance. So the thing that you create has to pay you based on the energy that you put in and the amount of times that you can do it. Showing up, punching a clock, and leaving at the end of the day, punching a clock and knowing exactly how much you're going to make is not the definition of this. So what you need to do is you need to figure out in your role, like what can you do to be compensated for the amount of energy, effort, and success that you have in that role. Now, some of you may be in a salaried position. You're making 50 grand a year, or 40 grand a year, or 70 grand a year, who knows, whatever it is. And you say, well, what do I do? Well, for you, you need to find a symbiotic flow. You need to find something else that you can do when you're not in your 9-to-5 normal day-to-day deal collecting a salary. You need to become the 18-hour-a-day or the 16-hour-a-day entrepreneur where part-time is 9 to 5 and the other part-time you're making money, right? So I don't know exactly what that side venture does look like for you, but you always want to tie it back into something that supports what you're doing. So for some people, that's a Shopify store. For some people, that's buying and selling stuff at yard sales or whatever. I don't know, garage sailing, maybe playing video games on, the Twitch TV. You play video games and on Twitch TV and people pay you to watch you play video games. I don't know what that is, but I do know this for sure. The best way to get $100,000 in the bank is to have a job, first and foremost, that pays you for production. This is going to be a commission job. This is going to be some type of sales job. Johnny, my man Johnny over here, he just saved his first $100,000. He's got $105,000 in the bank. Huge milestone financially for people.
Oh, yeah.
That's Johnny, kind of creepy. But Johnny has a deal where he is a camera guy. So he gets paid commissions based on the videos that he shoots for the office that are successful. Plus, he shoots videos that he gets paid for outside of the office. So he's getting paid for his production. And that's the most important first step to making sure that you can actually get out of the kind of the treading water phase and actually get into getting ahead of the game so that you can start kind of building that flywheel of money saving up. So when we get back from the break, I'm going to go into the rest of the list. I got 4 more things that I want to talk to you about. This is Young Hustlers, and we talk about money.
Are you tired of buying ads? How much would 5 times more visitors from search engines like Google or Bing do for your business? Link Research Tools helps you increase that free organic traffic. We have offerings to get your business to become the dominant force on the internet. The secret of internet traffic is what we give you. We convert that traffic into cash flow for your business. Learn more at linkedresearchtools.com. That's linkresearchtools.com and sign up now. Dynamics University is a coaching, education, and network expanding program. Our service is worth over $40,000 per year in value. Set smart goals that you'll be held accountable to achieving. Train daily on Cardone University and build a power network of like-minded people who are growing with you. Wealth Dynamics University is like having all of the answers written down for you, and all you have to do is show up, work hard, and listen. Wealth Dynamics U costs no more than your car payment. The difference? It will actually make you money. Go to wealthdynamics.com/university. That's wealthdynamics.com/university now to get started. Growing your future, protecting your past. J.D. Frost & Company, PLLC, is a public accounting firm. Offers a variety of assurance and tax services to businesses and individuals in the Chattanooga and surrounding areas. We focus on construction and manufacturing industries. Our primary objective is client satisfaction through excellent customer service. Work with the best. We are accredited by the BBB. This is J.D. Frost & Company for a full suite of tax assurance and management accounting services. Visit us right now at frostcpas.com.
You can't just know what not to do. You have to know what to do. I want to talk to you about finances today. Most people don't know this, but in addition to the other things that I've done in my life, one of the things that I've done extremely well is finances. If you're playing defense and protection, save your money, protect it. This money, just a simplified thing. This is a piece of paper, okay? This piece of paper is worthless if it's not used.
Hey, what's going on? This is Young Hustlers. Every Thursday, noon East Coast Standard Time. Your boy JG's coming here talking about the young hustle. And today we're talking about money. Money is important. Money is vital to doing most anything you want to do in life. The second you leave your house, you got to get in a car. The car needs gas. The car has a payment. The car needs insurance. If you don't have a car, you're calling Uber. Your cell phone requires money to pay the bill, and you're required to pay Uber to come pick you up. So money touches every area of your life. It's the most important thing. And if you have the wrong information about money, I promise you, at some point in your life, you will find yourself in trouble, just like I did. 25 years old, 40 grand in debt, smoking weed every day, on unemployment, still couldn't pay my bills and figure it out. It was a mess. It was a disaster, and nobody should ever be there. So that's what we're doing today, is we're talking to you about how you can make the turn and start making some money. Okay, we're going to talk about how to bank your first 100K. It was the first big milestone that I hit when I felt like I was actually like going down the right path. Things were happening the right way for me. So number one thing you have to do, this is going to be very difficult for you to do in a short period of time if you don't have a role that pays you for your performance. In most cases, this is going to be a sales job. So hopefully, if you're watching this and you're in a sales job, you understand that. If you're not in a sales job, I hope this can start creating some curiosity in you finding more ways to increase the velocity that you can go from where you're at to 100 grand in the bank. The second thing you have to do to get 100 grand in the bank is you have to do the math. This ties right back into a role based on your performance, right? You got to figure out how much you make when you sell something. Whatever that is, if it's selling something on the phone, if it's selling something face-to-face, if it's going down to the swap meet and selling something, you got to figure out like what that activity is worth for you. You got to figure out what your bills are every month, right? Like you have to sit down and actually spend the time to write out where you're spending money on things. I remember I'd do this. I was like, cell phone bill, car insurance, credit card bill, food, food and groceries, car payment, money I owed my parent, whatever. Like literally on a sheet of paper, I would write down every expense that I had. And then I'd pack into that deal. I'd say, okay, well, I got $500 a month for discretionary. This was just extra stuff, dry cleaning. I mean, literally, you have to write it all out. Most people have no idea how much money they're spending on a monthly basis. They don't track it. That's one of your biggest mistakes. So you got to figure out what you have that's going out, and then you got to figure out what you get when you sell something so you know what's coming in. Once you get those two pieces of data, it's just simple math, okay? If you want to get to 100 grand and you want to do it in a year, that means you got to put away about $8,000 a month, okay? So what are you going to do? Maybe it's 3 years for you to get 100 grand. For me, to get my first 100 grand, it was about 2 years, okay? So for me, I was like, what am I spending every month? What's my rent? What are my utilities? What's my cell phone? Didn't have cable. I had everything written out. So then I'm showing up to work every day and I'm like, okay, well, if I want to get to 100 grand in 2 years, that means I got to put away about $4,000 a month, $4,200 a month. How do I get to that point? I got to make 8 grand a month or 9 grand a month. If 40% is taken away from taxes, that means I got about $4,000 left over, $3,000 left over. Rent's $800. Fortunately, at the time, I didn't have my car payment. Like, where does all the money go? Right? Then when you get down to the end of the deal, you're like, man, I'm not making enough money. Like that 2 years is going to take 4 years. And that's why you have to be in a position that pays you based on your production. You can have pie in the sky dreams of trying to make money, but the truth is, if you're not in a position where, number one, you're in a role where you can control your income based on your performance, or number two, if you don't even have the discipline to sit down and write out what it's going to take to get there, you will never have money. You're hoping. You're scrolling through Instagram going, man, what if I had that kind of car? What if I could go on that kind of vacation? You got fluff. You have nothing. And this is the God's honest truth, and it's a tough message to hear, but if you're not willing to even take one action forward to get you closer to where you want to go, if you can't even get to the 10 grand, if you can't even take the time to put 10 grand in the bank, dude, getting to $1 million is going to be extremely difficult for you, right? What's going to happen is it's probably going to take some significant event in your life, some threatening event in your life to get you to snap out of the bullshit that you've been feeding yourself. You got to have high levels of responsibility for this to work. You have to know that it's everything that happens to you is because of you. Like the actions that you take deliver the results that you get. And if you don't do anything, you won't have anything. So number one, you've got to find a role that pays you based on your performance. Number two, you have to take the time to do your math. If you suck at math, spend an entire freaking weekend trying to figure it out, or get somebody else that can help you. They have calculators in every phone now. It's not that hard. Show some commitment to the desires that you have, right? Like so many people are so lazy, they don't even take the time to go through and write all this stuff out. Number three, you have to focus all of your attention on increasing your income. Okay, for me, this meant time to grind, dude. Time to throw away 9 to 5. Time to put blinders on to what all of my friends were doing. Because I don't know what their plan is. I know what my plan is. I want hundreds of millions. But first I got to hit the 100,000. So what does that mean? Dude, that meant that I couldn't work 8 to 6, which were the office hours when I first started working here. I did that for the first 90 days and realized I wasn't getting where I wanted to go. So what I had to do, I had to adjust. So I started coming in at 6 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. We were in LA. Why? Because that's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. That's when people are starting their day there. If I come in at 8, I've lost 2 hours already. Right? And then what I'd do is I'd stay until 6 or 7 o'clock at night. 13-hour days. Right? Because I wanted to make sure that everybody was out of the office. Like I couldn't even get a hold of anybody more when I was calling people on the West Coast. I wanted to maximize my day because I'm trying to shorten the time it takes. Francisco made this awesome video about time and money and how the distance between time and money is based on how quick you can pull that money into your reality. That is 100% predicated on the action that you take every day. So for me, I had to get unreasonable. I had to create a new schedule. If you guys are walking in when the deal opens and you're leaving when the deal closes, and you're like a herd, you're migrating with the main people in your office, you're failing. You're screwing up. You're messing up. You're wasting the opportunity that you have. It will take you about as long as it takes everybody else, and guess what? They're not going to get there. You got to be the first one in, the last one out. This sounds so easy, but it's so difficult. And you got to be productive. Right? So you got to get unreasonable. You have to grind. You have to work weekends. I basically shut my personal life off for about 2 years. Very little like free time recreation. It was like wake up, gym, work, come home, study, sleep, and then start it all over again. So those are the first 3 things that I did to get closer to my 100K in the bank. When we get back, I'm going to finish it with the last 2 and take some callers. This is Young Hustlers.
There is only one company to work for in the smart home industry, Skyline Security. Right now is looking for the best of the Grant Cardone following to join their team and expand financially and professionally. Go to joinskyline.com to register. Labeled by Inc. 5000 as the fastest growing company for the last 2 years in a row, you get to protect families, grow your wealth, and join a team of top producers. Skyline is looking for great people. Go to joinskyline.com. That's joinskyline.com to get started on a brand new 10x career path. Go to joinskyline.com to register. Computer engineering is at the front of everything digital and technology. With the most advanced use of Amazon Web Services, artificial intelligence to predict your next sale, learn how to predict what your customers will buy next, learn how to know and automate your whole business so you can do one thing, go make more money. Tim Clark is the guy to know, a thriving entrepreneur and the mastermind behind artificial intelligent sales processes. Get automated, make more money, and grow your business with Nikos. Learn more at NikosCE.com. That's NikosCE.com right now. When it comes to next generation telecommunications and setting up your business, there's no better company than Bullfrog. From setting up mobile office telecommunication technology to integrating with CRMs and call tracking, Bullfrog Communications has every service you need to handle, maintain, and expand your communication line with your customers. Upgrade your business phone right now. Let us help you grow your business with smart, easy, flexible, and efficient technology that gets your company on the road to better communication and next generation business phone systems. To learn more, get a free quote at bullfrog.net. That's bullfrog.net. Introducing the fastest growing e-commerce platform in the fitness space, gymfoodstore.com. Dr. David Carley is a Harvard-trained MD entrepreneur and specialist in rehabilitation and regenerative medicine, along with Zoe Bedford, experience in distribution and product development, bring you an online store interested in optimizing your health. Gym Food Store is your online marketplace for nutritional and sports supplementation, all things health. Gym Food Store is here to help you identify and validate product selection. Learn more at gymfoodstore.com. That's gymfoodstore.com right now.
You can't just know what not to do. You have to know what to do. I want to talk to you about finances today. Most people don't know this, but in addition to the other things that I've done in my life, one of the things that I've done extremely well is finances. If you're playing defense and protection, save your money, protect it. This money, just a simplified thing. This is a piece of paper, okay? This piece of paper is worthless if it's not used.
Hey, we're back, everybody. This is Young Hustlers, your place to come every week. We do it live Thursday, noon East Coast Standard Time here in the Cardone Zone podcast. Young Hustlers. We're talking about getting your sales right, getting your money right, living the life that you deserve to live. I believe everybody deserves to live a life of abundance. I believe everybody should not be worried about their finances. But for me, I lived a life for probably 6 years that were really tough for me because that's all I was thinking about was how much money I didn't have, how much I couldn't go out and do the things that I wanted to do. When people would ask me to go on trips, the first thing I'd be thinking of is how much money do I have in the bank? Like, is this even possible? Like, I remember literally, like, when I got the job working for Grant, I was like, when does the check come? When do I get my first check? Because I needed that next check in order to just survive, right? So if you've ever had any of those conversations with yourself, that's what we are trying to fix. We're trying to get your eye on the right target. Grant taught me everything I know about money, without a doubt. And Grant's made big money, and he's going to make the B word money, right? Like, I've already seen him go from 50 million, or maybe less than that, maybe 40 million when I first started working, to 400 million. Like, in the next 3 years, he will be at $1 billion. Like, these are the types of people that you want to learn from. The people that are there and they're growing. Like, you know, somebody that inherited money, got money from their family, they're not the best people to learn from. You know, I want to learn from the guy that started with nothing and built it his way up. Dude, there's so many mistakes Grant made along the way. So many mistakes. Probably every mistake imaginable because of how he was brought up, because of how he got started. He'd been screwed in deals before, bad partners. I mean, this guy probably made every mistake that you can imagine making money. But he had a commitment to persevere and to continue to go. Most people quit. That's why they don't get there. Most people get frustrated and give up. And that's why they never get out of that, like, man, I'm in the grind all the time, right? Financial freedom, passive income exceeds your expenses. And with my definition, plus you have the ability to continue to invest after that. I learned everything I know from Grant. Grant could go on for days about how much he knows about money. He's going to do 2.5 hours live Saturday, okay, noon East Coast Standard Time, and he's going to go deep. So if you want to get your money right, if you want to get your finances right like I did, to go from 40 grand in debt, broke, knew nothing about money, wasting my time. I wasted 10 years of my life with the wrong data and information. He's going to fix that for you in 2.5 hours this Saturday at noon. Go to grantcardone.com/money. Do not miss this. This will be the most impactful time that you spend thinking about your finances, your money this year, I promise you. So we're covering today the things that you can do to get to 100K. We're going to go to some callers. We'll go to the callers first. How do you get your first 100K? Let's go to some callers. Natalie, who we got? Jacob, Atlanta, what's happening?
What's going on, Jared? How you feeling, man?
Dude, I'm feeling great, man. How you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm always outstanding, man.
I love that, brother. Hey, we're talking about money today, how to bank your first 100K. What's your question?
Hey, so I guess I'm in the same predicament that you're in. Well, right now I'm 28, working at a car dealership, so I got the portion of, commission-based sales going for me. And right now I'm already doubled my previous year's income, but I can't seem to collect enough money. I don't know what it is. It just keeps slipping away from me. I don't know if it's my discipline or what.
Yeah, so you in the sales game, you control your income by two things: volumes or profitability. So you either have to double, if you want to double your income from where you're at right now, then you have to either double the volume of sales that you have, or you have to double the money that you're making on the deals that you're currently getting.
Yeah.
So like one thing that a lot of people do, Jacob, is they get focused on, like, how many cars did you sell last month?
Last month, 14 and a half.
Okay, so you sold 14 and a half cars. You're thinking, dude, I gotta go to 30. Yeah, because it's a split deal. I gotta go to 30 cars a month. How do I do that? Like, some people get so focused on the big target, like, I want to have $100 million, right? If I started thinking about $100 million and today I didn't do anything to get closer to that, I'm gonna get really frustrated. And before too long, you give up. People just give up because, like, repeatedly not hitting a target, it frustrates people. They burn out, they break down, whatever, and then they quit and they give up. So what I would say is you have to find a way in increments to start getting closer to your target. So first of all, the amount of people that you talk to and the amount of people that you communicate with, that creates more opportunities for you to sell. Okay. So Number one thing is you got to control your activity level. Number two is when you're negotiating deals, find an increment to get extra out of every deal. Like, when you're working a deal about how much you push on a deal to get it done, right? When the desk sends you a pencil and they give you a worksheet and they say, hey, instead of $500 a month, we need to be at $560, right? When they give you that worksheet, you take that 6 and you put an 8 on it. You make that 6 an 8. Get yourself an extra $20 a month. Like, you have to start finding ways to increase in a little increment the profitability on your deal. So increase your level of activity, make more phone calls, see more customers, make more follow-up calls. And then in the deals that you are working, you have to find a way to just get a little bit more on every deal. Because you're not going to go from $1,000 deals to $4,000 deals gross profit overnight. It's going to start with increments, and you're going to start building confidence in your ability to ask for the money and then actually get it.
Okay.
So this whole thing's about increments, dude. Don't get caught up with the big thing. What can you do right now to just get a little bit closer? So I hope that helped, dude. Thanks for calling in. Next caller, Natty __OG on Instagram. Francesca, what's happening?
Hi, Jared. How are you?
I-
So glad to be on.
I'm excellent. Thanks for calling into the show today. We're talking about money. Money was something that I struggled with early on, and then I remember hitting that $100,000 target, how exciting that was for me. So what is your question today about money?
So my question pertains to pricing with clients. I own a marketing business, and I manage my clients' social media accounts and help them grow relationships there. So as of now, I'm at a certain price point, and I want to increase that price point.
What's the
with
price
clients.
point?
Well, the price point is approximately $1,500 per month. So it's a month-to-month payment.
Okay.
I want to increase that price to $2,000, $2,500, and so on. Basically, every time I gain a client, I increase the price because my value goes up.
Right.
I want to know, how do I pre-qualify a client to 100% know they're able to afford my service?
Well, you know, I wouldn't pre-qualify somebody in the way that you're probably thinking of. You know, what I would do, like the first thing that you said was you have a month-to-month deal. The first thing that I'd do is I'd take that $1,500 a month contract and times it by 6 or 12 months so that I could get an $18,000 contract. Like,
Okay, so $18,000 up front as opposed to
well,
month-to-month
or monthly, but you said it's a month-to-month
Okay.
contract. Like, what I would do is I'd say, okay, well, that $1,500 a month, I want to make sure that that money's coming in for 12 months. So sign
Yeah.
them on a contract. The second thing is, you know, like you've got, numbers are all made up. Like I could go into your same business and be like, I'm going to charge $3,000 a month. Actually, I'm going to charge $31.25 per month for the first 6 months, and then charge $2,680 a month for the second 6 months. It's all made up. So there's no like,
Right.
there's no like rubric to say this is what you should be charging. You charge what you should get. You charge what you get. You charge what you feel like you're worth, and that will change for you. So when you're first getting started, you're scared. You're scared to death. You're like, what am I going to price this at so that I actually can sell stuff? So you charge them $1,000 a month. And then you have 10 people that are paying you $1,000 a month, or maybe 5 or whatever. And you're like, Jesus, this is a lot of work. Like, I'm working so much for this $1,000 a month. And I'm like, I've got 5 clients. I'm doing all the work. I'm only making $5,000 a month. And I can't get past that. So then what do? You got to go, okay, well, I'm going to still be looking for business, but the next client's going to pay $1,500 because I'm not doing all this work and I'm delivering all these results. I'm not doing that for $1,000 a month anymore. I'm going to charge another $500. And then what's going to happen is you're going to start getting better at your business. You're going to start understanding the value of you firsthand. A lot of people can't foresee their value until they actually get in the seat and start working on things. So before you know it, that 15 is going to become 2,000. You're going to start replacing clients. You're going to have to go back to the client you signed up for $1,500 a month, and you're going to have to say, hey, you know, due to demand, due to the quality of the results that we've been able to deliver, there's a price increase coming. It's going to be $500 a month. I got 3 more clients that I can backfill into your place, but I wanted to give you the first right of refusal since you've been such a good client of mine. So,
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Because I found myself like, okay, I'm giving the equal amount of attention to a client who's at, you know, $1,000 and a client who's at $2,000. This doesn't make sense, and I know my value is way higher than actually what I'm charging due to the
And Francesca, what I'll tell you is you're going to find that the $5,000 and the $10,000 client is going to require the same amount of work as the $3,000 client. So the only difference is your confidence and your ability to go after that bigger number. And that's going to require you start changing the prospect that you're looking at. What kind of deal you're going to go for. So if you want to start banking money faster, the way for you to do it, like I said on the previous call with Jacob, was increase the volume of clients that you have, which if you're selling your own time and you don't have a team, there's only so much of that you can sell before you tap out on your bandwidth. Or number 2, you got to start charging more money for your deal.
Okay.
But until you're sold on the value, Francesca, you're not going to be able to get the money.
Okay.
Help out?
Yeah, I understand.
What's your favorite Grant Cardone book?
10x rule.
There you go. I appreciate you. Thanks for the
I'm
call,
looking
Francesca.
more at his closing videos right now.
Oh, yeah. That's a great program. Hey, did you register yet for the money webinar this weekend?
No, I didn't. I just heard it for the first time.
GrantCardone.com/money. Do not miss this. Like, Grant's going to go over some of the math that you need to work at. Like, he's going to basically say, all right, here's what you need to do in your situation. We have a formula called Millionaire Math, and he'll go step by step through mapping out the Millionaire Math to help you hit your money targets.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah,
Thank
get
you
signed
for
up
the
for it
time.
now. Yep. Thank you so much for the call, Francesca. Let's go to another caller, Natalie. Natty__OG. Matt, what's going on?
How's it going, man?
Buonasera. Is that Italian?
Yeah, I'm Italian, man.
Buona vita. What do you say? Buonasera. That's what I said, right? Buona.
Yeah.
Buonasera. Buonasera. Is that right? Bona. Buonasera. What's happening, Matt?
So I have a few questions. I'm 18 years old right now, and I just moved to Canada by myself, right?
Congratulations, dude.
Thank you, man.
That's awesome.
Thank you. So I'm basically starting from the bottom, right? And
Now we
I have like around 15 grand saved up. And my question is like, I work for this money, you know, like hard work, but I don't want to do that anymore. So how do I double my money, like through investments and stuff at this age, you know?
Dude, Matt, that is probably the best question that anybody calling into this show could have asked. So what happens is people get impatient. Like, Matt's only 18 years old and he's got 15 grand in the bank. Dude, that's fantastic. Like, that's so amazing. Like, I know people that are double your age that don't have 15 grand in the bank. So, but the biggest mistake that you're going to make is what you're going to do is you're going to try to say, hey, what can I do with that 15 grand to double it? And you're going to find out that there aren't a whole lot of things that you can predictably put that money in that's going to double it, that are accessible by you with only 15 grand. Okay. So what's going to happen is you're going to see something like Bitcoin fly by, and you're going to be like, man, Bitcoin, everybody's making money in Bitcoin. I'm hearing all this stuff about Bitcoin. I'm going to invest in Bitcoin. Like, I talked about this on last week's podcast. One of the guys in the office that said there was some Bitcoin mining company, Altminer, and you basically put money in and then they use that to mine coins and it paid you every week. And I was like, it sounds too good to be true, but screw it, I'm going to do it. I couldn't figure out how to make it work, so I couldn't actually get the money in the deal. And then what happened was like 2 days later, it was a big Ponzi scheme and the whole thing fell apart and everybody that had money and lost their money. So if you don't have a long-term focus on how to get this done, then you're going to end up chasing trends and fads rather than sure things. So what I would tell you, and the rule that I applied was, until I hit 100 grand, I was not looking for anywhere to invest that money. The only thing I was focusing on, I'm going to skip ahead here. The only thing that I was going to focus on was increasing my income and getting to 100 grand. Until I got to 100 grand, I was broke. I stayed broke. And the only thing that I spent money on were the bare necessities that I needed to survive and things that would help me skills that I could develop that would actually help me make more money. So don't get caught up in where you're going to put that 15K, because 15K is no money. It's great for being 18 years old, but dude, you're not going to set the world on fire with 15 grand. And if you put 15 grand somewhere trying to double it, the chances are more so that you're going to lose it all than you're actually going to double it.
Okay.
So double down on yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest like this program that Grant's doing on Saturday on money. I promise you, at 18 years old, if you have this information, it's the same information I got at 27 that made me a millionaire in 4 years. So there's nobody else better you want to learn from than Grant, and he's going to spend 2 or 3 hours this Saturday going over everything you need to know to get you from 15 grand in the bank to 150 grand. Go to grantcardone.com/money. Appreciate the call, brother. Natty__OG. Let's get another caller. Sorry, I'm just jamming through these calls right now. Mike, California, what's happening?
What's up, Uncle Jay?
Call me Cousin Jay, man. I feel like an old
Cousin
man when you
Jay.
call me uncle.
Well, I don't want Uncle G to have all the fun, you know?
Yeah, there you go. I appreciate the call, man. Thanks for listening to the show. We're talking about money today, brother. What's your question?
All right, so I got a two-part question, but I really wanted to share my success story after GrowthCon.
Love that.
I wanted, I'm part of Cardone University. Our company's on Cardone University. Our company in general is hitting our targets. We're exceeding our targets, so it's amazing. Any business owners out there, anybody in sales or whatever listening to this, get on Cardone University.
Love that.
It will change your life. So after GrowthCon, I came back fully committed, did the 90-day rule, basically where I just 10x all my actions, 10x everything. On average, I do about $2.5 million a year in sales. Last month alone, I did $1.2 million in sales.
Wow.
Everything that I learned from Cardone, from you, everything that Steve Spray does on his trainings and everything, you guys are life changers, man.
Johnny, we need to call it and get the video from this guy. I'm going to have him call you after the show and get a video, but it's so awesome to hear you share that, man. I love that. What's the second part?
All right, so my two-part question is I've already gotten over the 100K threshold. And I'm over that. I need to figure out how I can get to the 200K, 250, levels, all that kind of stuff, and triple my income is where I really want to be. But where I'm having issues this is my second part, is I'm burnt out because I've 10x my levels. I'm tired. You know what I mean? I don't know how I can keep up this levels for, a year straight. And then secondly is trying to get my wife fully committed to allow me to do this stuff continuing.
Two great points. Okay, I want to give you an example. So you've been freaking going hard. You've been 10xing your activity, and you're like, man, I'm wore out, right?
Yep.
You ever been to the gym before?
Oh yeah, every day.
Okay. Like if you go like, what's the longest you've ever been where you've not gone to the gym, you've not exercised?
A week when I'm on vacation in Hawaii.
Oh wow, dude, that's awesome, man. I had a baby and it was like 3 months because of the schedule. I wasn't going into the gym, and the first time I went back into the gym and I was trying to work out like I did before, and number one, I had like no strength, and number two, I got so sore that I couldn't go back to the gym for like another 3 or 4 days. You ever had that experience before?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The problem is my body was out of condition, right? My body wasn't conditioned. So what I would tell you to the first part of your deal there, Mike, 10x, the mindset, the think, the activity, like you have to be conditioned to do that. Because I remember when I first started working with Grant and I saw how he operated and I was trying to catch up, dude, I was completely exhausted physically and mentally. But what happens is over time, so long as you have the right components in place, meaning I'm going back and I'm focused on my goals, and my wife and I, this is how you bring the other thing in, my wife and I continue to talk about the life that we want to have, not bitching
Amen.
about the life that we have now. You start bringing all those things together and you have purpose and you have a mission, and the work that you're doing is not just showing up to work to push and grind and hustle, but it's to get closer to that bigger thing that you want. So, like, number one, the energy thing is going to be tied to the condition of that 10x hustle. Like, Grant's been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing it for 7. So, like, I'm still trying to freaking work my way into it. The wife thing goes back to getting her so involved in what you guys want to do together in your life. I'm so fortunate and blessed that Sandy is interested in that, and we're on the same page with that. My wife and I, we talk about the life that we want to live. Like, that's exciting. The ideal life for us is exciting. And so we're both committed to doing that. For me, that means I'm working, 10 or 12 hour days. For her, that means she's holding things down at the house, taking care of the babies, being supportive to me when I'm doing my deal. And then also, she's now trying to find ways to monetize too. So, it comes down to conversations to get everybody on board. The G&E show on Wednesdays is a great place to do that.
Just listened to it yesterday.
Yeah, so I mean, like my wife loves Elena's show because it gives her that reinforcement that she needs, because Elena's been on this road a lot longer than she has. So it provides that additional support. and then getting connected with like-minded people, dude. If all your buddies don't push and aren't motivated by the same things you are, and your wife and their wives get together and, you know, they're talking about doing this or that and how much time they spend together and blah, 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 your wife will be influenced like that. My wife would be too, but that's why you got to continually reinforce the mission and go back to, like, what is the ideal thing? Like, the biggest challenge people have in life is making sacrifices today for the thing that they want, you know, 10 years from now.
Yeah, and going back to your gym comment, on average, I would do about 75 calls a day, somewhere around there, and then I bumped it up to 200, about 210 calls a day, 4,000 a month, but the activity level was just insane. And now when I do about 80 to 100, I feel like that's nothing.
Totally.
You know? So you're totally right on that.
Yeah. And then to get your 100K to start working for you, you have to start finding vehicles to put that in. So for me,
cash flows.
Yeah, dude. For me, it was Cardone Capital. Like, that was the real estate thing was interesting to me because it was money that showed up every month. It was investing in something that was real, that I could touch, that wasn't a trend or a fad. It wasn't something I was waking up every morning looking at the stock market going, oh, wow, you know, what's happening today? We're down 132 points. I had Sprint stock. They're going through this thing with T-Mobile. Marcelo Clare leaves. He's no longer the CEO. The stock goes down. Like all this trepidation, and it takes my eye off the ball of the thing that I'm doing when I show up every day. So like that's what I would just tell you is, like, the next thing you need to do is put that 100 grand to work somewhere where, like, you don't need a whole lot of energy and effort placed on it, other than just getting the check showing up every month. And you know, the kind of the tail end of that conversation is, I remember when I wrote that check for 100 grand, and the next month I got $500, and I was like, I gave 100 and I only got 500 back. Like, how does that work? But you just have to trust the process. You've got to have a long-term viewpoint, because two and a half years later, that 100 grand I put in, the deal refinanced about 18 months in. Of that 100 grand, I got like $40,000 of it back. So technically, I only had 60 grand cash in the deal. The property appreciated, cash flow went up, and 5 years later, 6 years later, we're getting ready to go back to the bank and do that again. Except this time, instead of pulling 40 grand out, I'm going to pull probably 250 grand out. So over 5 years, that 100 has become 340 to me. And I still own my percentage of that deal. I'm still going to get a check every month on that deal. I'm not a real estate expert. I don't know anything about real estate. I try to get involved in it and watch it, and it's too much for me, because I'm trying to make, like my man Mike here, 200 whatever calls a day. Like, I don't have time to sit and research this stuff. So I focus on my thing. I focus on trusting a partner with Grant, and then keeping the wife on board. Dude, I want to have them get a video from you on your success story, because I want to share that with everybody, because it's freaking huge. It's massive. Congratulations for stepping up, bro. That's so awesome. I'm so happy for you. No more caller? Sweet. Let's finish our list. What do you guys think about that? No more callers. Okay, so how to bank your first 100K. Number one, you got to find a role in a position that pays you based on your performance. Number two, you've got to do the math. You've got to figure out where your bills are, your expenses are. You got to figure out how much money you're making, and then you got to figure out how much money you can take out of there and suck away and put in a sacred account that you don't touch ever for anything until you get to that 100K, so that you can deploy that 100K into a safe investment like real estate with Cardone Capital. Number three, you got to focus all of your attention on increasing income. This means less time with friends. In some cases, sorry to tell you this, it's going to mean less time with family. It's going to mean you're going all in, above and beyond, because you're trying to take time out of the equation and shorten the distance between where you are and the money that you want. Number four, you've got to stay broke. Okay, so this means that discretionary purchases are kept at a minimum. This means that anytime you spend money, it needs to be for something that you have to have, right, to survive. Bills, food, like the basic necessities, or you're investing in something that's going to help you get to that money faster. So a program from Grants, a seminar for XYZ, some type of education, some type of skill development that will get you closer to that goal. Number 5, you have to start looking for ways to multiply money, right? So once you get to the 100 grand, then you end up with Mike's question, what do I do with it? If you don't have 100 grand, believe me, trust me, the only thing you should be focusing on is increasing your income. My man Steve Spray, he's about to put his 6th time, he's about to put $100,000 into the real estate fund. He's put in $600,000. We were in the gym this morning, we were talking about it. Man, this is so great, it's awesome. We're investing money, it's worth 3 or 4 times what we put in. We're getting checks every month, this is great. What's the big problem? Dude, we're not making enough money fast enough to continue doing it so that we can shortcut the time it takes to get from where we are to where we want to go. So you've got to be looking for ways that you can exponentially multiply that money. The guy with 15 grand needs to be thinking about nothing but how do I increase the velocity that I can collect money from the marketplace so that I can continue to reinvest that. I'm not an expert on money, okay? I don't know everything. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. My parents didn't make a boatload of money. They didn't have the education that I got from Grant. Grant taught me things about money that, frankly, nobody in my circle could teach me. Nobody was qualified for. Not them, not their parents, nobody. He's taught me things about money that will guarantee that I'm wealthy. He talks about it all the time. I still don't get it. He's like, you have no idea how rich you actually are. It's not even on your radar because he's looking in the future. So you've got to change your vision and you've got to change your focus. But most importantly, this is the key, because without this, you will fail with certainty. The key is you have to have the right information. So that's why we do this show. That's why we do all of our shows. That's why we do the web trainings. That's why we do all that stuff, so that you guys can get the right information. Okay? Grant's been doing this a long time. He's made every mistake you can imagine. And he even has some tricks and some shortcuts. So what we've talked him into doing is coming in on a Saturday, Cinco de Mayo, right? This ain't about tacos, it's about paper, okay? This Saturday at noon, Grant's going to come in and he's going to do a live training on money. He's going to download the mistakes. He's going to download the shortcuts. He's going to download the strategies that you can actually apply in your life to get that bag quicker. I told my man Glenn, we're always jacking about, yo, you got to get the bag, man. You got to get the bag. I'm like, dude, I don't want the bag. I want the freaking safe. Bring me the safe, because I want the big money. And if you want the big money, then you'll go to grantcardone.com/money and you'll register for the live training that we're going to do so that you can get all educated and you can get some of the secrets and the tricks that I've learned from him that helped me go in 7 years from zero to probably $3.5 million in net worth. I want you there. You deserve to be there. It's so much easier than you think it is if you have the right information. Thank you for showing up to the podcast. You can subscribe, you can rate, you can review. It really helps us out. You can email questions to Natalie@grantcardone.com. She'll get them over to me. You can follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, @JaredGlant. Message me there. Hit me up there. I'd love to help you out. I'd love to answer your questions. Nothing makes me happier than seeing people that want to win actually win. So we'll see you next week. And remember, the only people that condemn your hustle are the people that have already given up on the hustle themselves.
You can't just know what not to do. You have to know what to do. I want to talk to you about finances today. Most people don't know this, but in addition to the other things that I've done in my life, One of the things that I've done extremely well is finances. If you're playing defense and protection, save your money, protect it. This money, just a simplified thing. This is a piece of paper, okay? This piece of paper is worthless if it's not used.